Hey there, I'm Lance and I'm a gamer.
And I'm Sam and I'm a non-gamer.
And we are Love to Hate, where we help gamers find great games to play with non-gamers.
And today we're taking a look at Dice Cards by Cardlords.
The game is Dice Cards. Now this is a game for 1 to 8 players, ages 8 and up. Takes about 20 to 30 minutes to play. And in this game you have cards and you have dice, hence the name Dice Cards. Now, what this is a roll and write game. Every player is going to have 6 cards in front of them that they will be playing throughout the course of 50 dice rolls. That's right, you're going to be rolling the dice, 2 dice, 50 times, and you will be choosing one of the numbers that is rolled or a combination of the 2 dice together as your number to write on one of your cards that you're playing with. That's right, you will have dry erase markers in this game and you'll be writing on all of the cards, keeping track of the numbers that you've chosen for yourself. Now everybody can pick the same 2 dice. It's the same numbers for everybody. You're just picking which of the numbers you're choosing. And here's the biggest catch to this game. All the cards are different. There are going to be 50 different types of cards in this game, 50 different mini games, let's say, and each card has their own different rules for how you are going to be scoring it. Now, some of the cards are going to be all or nothing, meaning you need to do everything on the card in order to get points, while other cards are going to give you points for whatever you do complete by the end of the game. Each player has their own different types of cards, so everybody's going to be trying to get points in, well, 50 different ways in this one. So lots is going on in this particular game. Too much for me to be able to explain all the different rules, even in a normal rules length video, but this being our Express Regs type, we're just going to give you our overview thoughts on this kind of game and not get too specific into any too details of one particular type of card. So Sam, let's get into this. What did you think about dice cards?
I will say I'm not in general very good at learning new games, which is probably why I'm the hate and he's the love. It just takes me a while to process what's going on, what's my strategy. This game took me an exorbitant amount of time to figure out what was going on, but I do not think that is a non-gamer versus gamer situation. I do think it was me, how my brain works, because we played with other non-gamers who understood it so much quicker than I did. It was the fact that you're essentially having, was it 6 cards?
6 cards.
6 cards that have different games on them.
Yep, 6 mini games.
And I could not understand what's going on, what am I trying to do. It took me to the very end. I still scored pretty high at the end.
Yeah.
But man, this is one of those games where as a gamer, you need to be patient in explaining it.
Yeah, so this does, especially at the very beginning of the game, which is quite unusual, I feel like, for most roll and writes, because usually most roll and writes are like, you know, your tough decisions come towards the halfway point and the later parts of the game, because now it's crunch time. I've got to make these really, good decisions. But I feel like the tougher choices were made in the beginning parts of this game of just knowing, what do I put my eggs in? Like, where am I putting all my efforts into? Because 6 cards feels a little overwhelming.
I do feel like as a non-gamer, or maybe just someone who had more difficulty with this game, it helped to kind of focus on 2 cards at once.
Yeah.
And I really focused on those, figured out what I could do. Unless my number just could not fit into any of those 2 cards, I didn't really deviate from those. And that worked well for me.
And that's kind of what I do too in this game. Yeah, like I've got 1 out of my 6 that I'm like, I'm probably not going to do anything on that card the entire game. And then I've got like 2 that I'm like, I'm going to really try to go for these.
But if you just set these cards out and you're like, okay, so we're going to roll numbers and you're going to try to fit them in, it does.
So just the fact of the nature of this game and having 50 different mini games means there's going to be a little bit more that you have to kind of explain and teach on each different card. Now, I will say I don't feel like any one particular card is extremely difficult to figure out or learn. There are some that are maybe a little bit more confusing than others, and there are some that are just completely straightforward.
Yeah.
But you will have there be a time where you might have to, kind of be like, okay, this is what this card means for a specific player. Like you might have to explain it out for them.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the fun factor with this one. How fun was this for you?
I think I need to play it a couple more times. I think near the end, I was finally like, I get this. It just took so long for it to click for me. But everyone else we played with really enjoyed it, and they liked this game more than other games that we played that night. That night, I was saying absolutely not. After the fact, and I'm like, okay, give me different cards, see how I can play. I do think it's a fun game. I think there's just a steep learning curve for some people.
Okay. Now, my experience with this one is that, like I was saying just a second ago, there are some cards that are extremely straightforward that are kind of like, what? Okay. It's just like, add up all the numbers. That's your score kind of experience, which is okay, I guess. Not super compelling choices when it comes to that. But then there are some other cards that are like, oh man, I really got to make a choice early on if I'm going to go for this at all. And that adds some tension to the game, and there's some fun with that. So I will say some of the cards are better than others with this one, but as an overall experience, I think it's a pretty fun thing. Now, 50 rolls to me felt a little daunting, right? Like having to say, okay, we're going to take 50 turns in this game. And I heard some people go, oh, like as in like, this is going to be a long game.
Yeah.
And it moves quicker, obviously, because you're just rolling the dice and you're picking a number and writing it, and that's the end of the turn. But initially, I think this could be a harder sell to get some people to want to play.
I also like that they could make like here, or you can choose to do 25 rounds and choose 4 cards.
Yeah, like a short game
version.
Yeah, for sure. But anyway, that's maybe more of a minor thing. Overall, I thought that it was a pretty unique, interesting experience because you have so many different cards, and so the replayability with this game is through the roof because you're never going to have the exact same 6 cards ever again. And there's the potential for you to be able to get the same card more than once because there are 2 copies of every card in the game. So you could have, you could be doing a Sudoku twice because Sudoku is one of the cards in the game. You could have it twice.
And that's the one I started with because I was like, I know Sudoku, so I can at least start with something I know.
But that's an interesting thing that you might have with this one. The fact that it plays up to 8 players and this being kind of like a party experience with everybody, this is like a lot of roll and writes that you could play it with lots of different people. You're not limited to a certain number of people. I think it's only up to 8 players because there's only so many cards in the game.
Yeah.
But you can play with a big group is what I'm saying. So that's a good thing with this one.
Yeah.
And ages 8 and up, you can play this a lot with a lot of different people. So overall, one that you would recommend playing with non-gamers?
I think so.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sold yet. I think it just, again, you have to have whoever's explaining it needs to be patient.
All right. Well, there you go. That's our thoughts here on dice cards from Cardlords.
Make sure to like and subscribe and push that bell button so you get notifications of all our new content.
I'm Lance.
I'm Sam.
And we are Love to Hate, where we try to bridge the gap between gamers and non-gamers. We'll catch you next time.